Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to the Racing Line. We are here for a brand new season. Now we're finally getting ready to kick off. We've done qualifying rounds, we've done media day, which didn't go as smoothly as usual for whatever reason, but we move on, and here we are for round 1 of season 2 of the RLTC Championship. The Racing Line Touring Car Championship begins today. Your Monday night entertainment is back for the new year, 2023. The 2023 season starts here. Round 1, races 1, 2, and 3. It's 3 races a night, remember, and you've got us for 4 weeks in a row. Or is it 3 weeks? I can't remember. We'll have a look at that in a second. But we are starting off where we left off last season, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Phillip Island in Australia. We're starting the season off all the way on the other side of the world, and it's where, for those of you that have stuck with us for a little while, if you remember RLTC Season 1, it's where the big finale kicked off, very close between Connor Mills for Pulsar eSports and Morgan Burkhard, who eventually took the championship here at Phillip Island on the final round by just like 2 points. Like, I'm not exaggerating, I'm sure it was around 2 points. After a crazy finale, saw Morgan start near the front, Connor Mills start at the back with a qualifying ban, and a load of racing. Go watch it. But I mean, the action was insane, and I'm hoping it's going to be repeated today. It's going to be repeated today. It's a lovely track. I mean, it's a little bit how can we say this safely? Phallic shaped. Can we say it like that? If we look at the track map, there's loads of cars out there. I can see 24 on the timing screens, 26 in the session out of 30 drivers, with just 8 minutes left of practice for those last few drivers to get in. We do have a full grid of drivers now. It has happened. I'm telling you, we've had a last minute entry. We had 9 full teams, and now we have our 10 full teams back for the RLTC, which I'm actually really happy with. We'll see if they can stick it out for the season. Jerry is in chat. Biggie Morello is in chat. He said good evening. Jerry said looking forward to how Team Husingveld will do. Yes, they are our late entry. Should we have a quick look at who we've got? We have got Stefan Scheller in the Audi for Team Husingveld. Is he out on track? Let's have a look. There he is. Let's get a closer look at that livery. There it is. The number 69 car. The Icelandic driver there. That is a nice livery, actually. I'm not going to... I mean, I can't pick my favourite livery. It's because I get called biased. I'll be called biased. Fabian... Do we say Fabian or Fabian? Let's say Fabian. Fabian Siegmann is in the pits for the Hyundai. He's in the number 31 car. The German driver for Team Husingveld as well. I think he's just rolling forward. Maybe he's practicing his starts. Smart decision, as the starts are key. Where is their third driver? He's out there somewhere. I've seen him. He's in the Honda. There he is. And this is the name, guys. This is the name that I'm going to mess up. I think I got the other two okay. Deep breaths. In the Honda for Team Husingveld, we have Roman Perschke. That's what I'm going to stick with until he corrects me. We had a quick conversation earlier, and that's what I'm going for, Perschke. But the Honda livery looking nice as well. All of them jumping straight in with like 2-3 days to go and getting everything sorted. 7 minutes left of practice. Speaking of practice, another new entry for the teams is Team SRL. A fellow YouTube channel, SRL TV. A load of good... Oh, Jerry's trying to help me in chat. Perschke. He said Per. I'm telling you, he said Perschke. Toon Hex in chat and says, afternoon lads. Andre Marek says, ooh, purple wheels. Not sure which team he was talking. Oh, he would have been talking about Husingveld, I think. But Team SRL, Dan Mold currently fastest in the session. Let's change that to gap so that we can see the actual differences between the times. And it's looking extremely close between new entry Dan Mold, who is the one that has put the shivers in last year's champion, Morgan Burkhard, who is also in a Hyundai. The top 2 in Hyundais at the moment in practice, with new Team Husingveld in 3rd, 4th and 6th right now. That's a scary prospect. But Mark Draper holding strong for the Team SRL Audi, and Arthur Thurtle, the 3rd SRL driver in the Honda there, also in the top 10. So 2 new teams. 2 new teams. All in the top 10 with all 3 drivers. Now that's scary stuff for the original teams on the grid. We lost a few teams this season. Masters of Torque, or Masters of Traction as they were known in the RLTC, are no more at the moment. But donning the orange, getting that orange on the grid, is Street Casuals. And Austin Farr was looking strong in media day at VIR. That's him in his Street Casuals Honda. The other drivers are Eric Mannetveld, who's currently in the pits he's in the Hyundai, and Henry Morse has joined us on track as well, the number 14 car, also driving for Street Casuals. How many do we have racing today, says Tuinhek? Currently 26 out there on track. There are 30 drivers signed up and ready. Not sure who the 4 are looking at the screen. It'd take me a little while to work out, and there's only 5 minutes of practice left, so I'll work that out in a minute. John Bailiff is here. Who else? Actually, it's a good time to mention John Bailiff. I was saying teams that we lost. Win It or Bin It was another team that has fallen foul off the grid as a result of the new teams joining and their teams, let's say, running out of funding, shall we? But John Bailiff driving for Pulsar eSports as he did last season. He drives for Win It or Bin It in the Jetta Cup. John Bailiff had a couple of wins. He's in the Hyundai this season. He's swapped cars. He drove the Honda last season, but swapping with him was also long-term Pulsar driver Stephen King, who I cannot find. There he is, parked up, watching, and he's escaped. He's gone. Kieran Dempsey is one of the drivers missing. Of course, a Pulsar eSports driver, so I can't show you the Audi driver, Kieran Dempsey. I think he told me that he couldn't make round 1. That will be one of the drivers. Duncan Murray has just been mentioned in chat, and I was about to go to Goldwing because joining Goldwing from Win It or Bin It from the RLTC season is Carl Ridley. He's jumped over. He was the only driver left. Dan Downing, unfortunately, retiring as well. And then, yeah, so that brought Kyle Ridley into the Hyundai. A good prospect for the team because he is also a race winner after stealing, you may have seen it in the intro, stealing a win from Stephen King on the line at Twin Ring Motegi. A great job from him. Duncan Murray has just joined the session to make it 27. His power is back up in South Africa. Sam Van Olst is there in the Audi. He returns in the Audi. And Duncan Murray, who's just joined, I probably won't be able to see, but he is in the Honda and returning. He has power issues. Do you know what? I've just remembered. Flags. I love, for those of you that have been following, I love a good flag on the grid. And it's good to see so many nationalities out there. Despite rumours, I'm going to keep mentioning this. This needs to go in our joke chat on Discord. But despite rumours, it is not an English championship. Look at all those flags. And, I mean, I'll tell you who's mixed it right up is Team Husikveld, who have brought in an Icelandic flag, an Austrian flag, and another German flag joining Jan Weiswanger. Let's go to him in the Audi. That's not an Audi. That's a Honda. I was not looking at the right car. That is Jan Weiswanger for Meatball Motorsport driving the Honda. He's always one to watch in terms of if he's in your mirrors, because you never know if he's going to get the car stopped. I do like those cars with the orange wheels. They look very nice. Who else is driving for Meatball Motorsport? Jesus Amundere, one of the Lurchers teams, has dropped from the grid. There was 2 Lurchers teams last season. Now we have just the Lurchers Gaming team, who have kept the Academy livery, funnily enough. But Jesus was the 4th Lurchers driver, and he's been hired by Meatball Motorsport. Jumping in Kieran Dempsey's old car. Obviously, Kieran moving over to Pulsar eSports. Where is Timu, says Kakala. Timu did not sign up. Stephen Fry is also back, but I can't see him. He is in the Hyundai for Meatball Motorsport, but he is in the session. We need to mention Fear Factor was another team that dropped out of this season, so they're not in this season. And Team ORD collect up Mats Andersen, the Norwegian driver, not a race winner. Technically, he did win at Media Day, though, so he's looking just as quick as before. He's currently in P7, and if he can keep it together, I'm sure we'll see him win an official race this season. And if you can all join me, I'm gonna be rooting for him a little bit. He nearly won at Brazil last season. He just couldn't do it. He was very close. It was less than a 10th between him and John Bailiff on the line. Also driving for Team ORD is Joseph Gibson there in the Audi in the pit lane, and Dan Thornton in the Hyundai, who was looking strong. Do you know what? I've got to give a shout out to Dan, because he digs me a little bit for acting surprised when he's in a good position. But not only was he strong at Media Day at VIR, and this is completely irrelevant, but there is a certain SimLab race that we did at Hungaroring at the start of the week in the Jettas, which some of you may know is a specialty car of the channel, I guess. And Dan Thornton, who normally, let's say, is not there, nearly overtook me twice, and genuinely, like, I was scared, Dan. I'm not gonna lie. I was scared because you were quick at Hungaroring, And I don't think we're going there this season for the RLTC, which is a shame. But Martin Wallace finished third in that race, could not pass him, so well done to Dan Thornton. There's only 30 seconds left of practice, and qualifying will be underway. I think I've mentioned all the teams that have disappeared. So now I can just focus on the teams that are remaining. Just very quickly, ZFG, I can't remember if ZFG were in the RLTC last season. They are regulars of the Jetta Cup, but Brandon Hughes driving the Honda for Zero Forks Giving. Steve Halewood is also driving for Zero Forks Giving in the Audi. He's a new entry. Martin Wallace has been at the Daytona this weekend. Was it Daytona? It was some sort of American race. I'm going to say Daytona. That's maybe why he is not here for Zero Forks Giving Racing. But there are plenty of cars out there as qualifying gets kind of underway. I want a pit lane cam. Is this a pit lane cam? Kind of. Look at how they all come out at once. No one knows where to find space. That's Stephen King for Bolsters eSports in the Honda. Who else do I need to have a look at? We didn't look at the Lurchers team. Who's out there for the Lurchers team? We have David Corpus in the Hyundai. This is what the Lurchers team looks like. Also grey and green, which may be confusing with the SRL team. Both of them dark grey and green. So, but if you look at the timing screens, those squares next to the names, the lime green ones, which you can see at the bottom right now for Mould, Thurtle and Draper, are Team SRL. And the dark green ones are Lurchers cars. So David Corpus driving for them in the Hyundai. You've got Ika Lequay returning in the Audi. And the other driver, that must be one of the other drivers that aren't here, because I can't see him. It's Alejandro Caraday. Yes, Alejandro Caraday is driving the Honda, makes a return. You would have seen him in the intro as well, because throwback to Zandvoort, where Lurchers nearly got an amazing win in race 3. He led the whole race, and on the last lap threw it into the hairpin, which was a crying shame. Phillip Island, though, is where we are for round 1. As qualifying gets underway, we can jump on board. I think we should jump on board with Dan Mould, since he's the first car out in the train by the looks of it. He's got a few cars behind him. This is what it looks like in his rear for this Hyundai. There's a decent gap. I think that's his teammate behind. Frederick Lejean is in chat, says hello. Confuses me, and I made the SRL one, says John. That's talking about the liveries. And the lap is about to begin. So let's go on board with Dan Mould. Get that dashboard up. And let's go through a lap of Phillip Island on board one of the quickest drivers here. So you're on the left-hand side, and this turn 1, insane. Very fast. Big lift off for Dan Mould, though. There's lap times coming up already. Have I missed that out lap, or am I just going crazy? I don't know why that's counted. Turn 2, very dangerous. Similar to Oran Park. It's going to kill people. People are going to go deep. They're going to lose the rear end. And if you dip one wheel on that grass on the outside of turn 2, it's going to drag you right out. And because it goes downhill on the exit. It's flat out through this left-hander, so no problem. But that turn 2, really have to be wary. We're going to see a few people go off there. We've got a tight right-hand hairpin here in the middle of the circuit as he anchors on the gears. Goes down to gear 1 in this Hyundai. Gets back on the power nice and easy. Uses a bit of curve on the exit over to the right-hand side. This is a lovely corner. Nice and cambered inwards. You take a nice wide entry, and we saw a few incidents here last season, namely between Jake Cranston and Connor Mills. Very controversial as the championship was involved. But it is what it is, and it happened, and congratulations to Morgan Burkhardt. It was a cracking season, and I really hope this one lives up to it. I think it will. I'm starting to get excited just hearing these engines. This is a tricky section. Uphill blind left-hander. Dan Mould holding it tight to the left. Comes out to the middle, gets back to the left for a tight downhill right-hand hairpin. If you missed your braking zone there, you are in trouble. Try and avoid the cars. If you're on the inside on the grass, you're going straight on into a big train of cars. That's going to be dangerous. Should be nice and fast and flat through here, but these cars are front-wheel drive, so we might hear a lift. There. I mean, I don't think he meant to do that because that was a very late lift, but final turn. Sounds like there's a bit of understeer getting involved, and he's going to go across the line for a 139.3. I was reading the bottom. That was wrong. And Dan Mould goes on pole position, so that's the current pole lap. But Siegman Fabian Siegmann is now on pole position. The German driver jumps up with a 1:39.0 for Team Husingveld. Burkhardt there 2 tenths back, and Cranston for All Sports Racing. Let's give these guys a bit of a view. We didn't see these cars in practice. Look at the All Sports Racing cars, white, blue and red, easy to spot, and of course a big fat number 1 on the side of that car, and a well-deserved one at that. Morgan Burkhardt, your champion. Wait, hang on, my memory's going. Did he win the Jetta Cup as well? How have I forgotten about the Jetta? Frederick's in here saying he's looking forward to the Jetta Series. We've just finished the Jetta Series. That's not going to be back till the end of the year for the 2023 season. I'm sure, but yeah, Morgan Burkhardt was champion. I don't know what I'm saying. He's a quick boy. Cranston, though, will be looking to be less of a wingman this season, I think, and perhaps take the championship himself. Cranston, of course, being the 2-time Jetta Cup champion out of the 3 seasons that we've done. So the number 78 car will be looking to take his first touring car championship, I am sure. But I think with the number of rounds, there's 7 rounds. I can show you this now. There's 7 rounds, and I think they're going to have to decide pretty early who they want to favour, to be honest. Unless they really just do go for it, guns blazing all the way through the season. We have a look. Round 1 is Phillip Island, which is where we are today. Next week we head to Japan for Okayama. Then we head to Brazil and return to Interlagos, which we also went to last season, before we head to round 4. So it is 4 weeks in a row, which is Canadian Tire, also where we visited last season. We then go for a 1-week break before heading to the European rounds of Silverstone, where we didn't go to last season. We then return to Imola in Italy, which we did, and then the new circuit on iRacing Magny-Cours for the final round, before heading to our celebration round, where we announce the champions and invite some more people to join us for a decent big race this time, the 2.4 hour Du Mans of Le Mans, because we can, and we've got 30 touring car drivers here, so why not throw in an open invitation for everyone to drive 30 GT4 cars. I want to have 60 cars on that grid for the 27th of March. Hopefully the touring car drivers will stay in the touring cars, and we can find 30 GT4 drivers somewhere to join in that race. It'll be a good one. It'll be a good one. Canadian Tire best track period, says Jerry. We all know why he's saying that. Just a quick mention for Virginia International Raceway. It says Burkhardt, Anderson and Thurtle were your race winners that day. But it was only media day, so they don't count your stats, boys. I am sorry about that. Qualifying. 3 minutes left, and it is an all sports 1-2. Cranston now currently on pole, and Morgan Burkhardt in second. I have lost the button to get rid of. There it is. There we go. That gets rid of the calendar. 27th of March is marked in Jerry's calendar. He's going to be there. Let's have a look at... Oh, Steve Helwood's doing well. Look, he's in the ZFG Audi up in P7. Just half a second back. Only 700 separate the top 2. SRL looking strong. I was about to say 3rd, 4th and 5th. That's been changed because Stephen King jumps up into P3 as Burkhardt takes pole position by a massive 4 tenths of a second. Andre says the G in Magny-Cours is silent. Magny-Cours. That doesn't feel right. Even if it's true, that does not feel right, so I'm going to stick with it and be naive. Vamos Ika, says Jerry Agard. Where is Ika? He's in the top 10 for the Lurchers Gaming team. That is him. Duncan Murray is up there in P14 with Sam Van Olst right behind him, who's qualifying a bit better today compared to last time. User Samundere has just moved up past Kyle Ridley. Roman seems to be having a bit of a mare in the Honda. He was very quick in practice. Can he get a lap in? Or is he being put off by all the cars out there? I'm sure he'll get a lap time, and he's going to put one in at the end. The number 25 Honda. Brandon Hughes in 25th, Stephen Fry 26th, and James Farfit currently rounding off the field in the All Sports Racing Audi. But some points is better than no points. Yes, let's put it that way. Sounds really fun with a GT race, says Frederick Lejean, and it will be open, so many people can join. John Bailiff is currently in the pits. I haven't seen him out on track that much. He's 2.2 seconds down, so he is around. I wonder if he's fixing something in his car. A minute and a half to go. Austin Farr is up there in P6. In terms of cars, we have a Hyundai on pole, followed by 2 Hondas and 2 Audis. We were questioning the changes to the touring cars since we've driven them last year. It was a whole year ago, RLTC Season 1 now. It was last January 2022. The Audis were the clear favoured car. here at the RLTC. It's a very even field, though. There's 10 teams. Each team has 3 drivers. Each driver has 1 car. So there are 10 Audis, there are 10 Hyundais, and there's 10 Hondas. It makes it fair across the board, no matter what the performance of the car is like. So there was an Audi championship. In fact, I think I can group it. Let's see if I can do that in qualifying. Yes, I can. There you go. Every one of the Hyundais is up there. The Hondas is there, and the Audis are there as well. It's just worth it. It saves people. It gets people to compare to other people driving the same car, and then and it is a fixed series as well. They're all running the sprint setup as there's 30 seconds left of qualifying, which is why everyone is going slow. I forgot what I was saying. I've lost my train of thought, but 1 second separates the top 16, which is kind of blowing my mind after seeing how big of a gap there was at VIR, but VIR is a very vicious track. But then again, so is Phillip Island, so all 27 drivers that are out there right now have done extremely well. The missing drivers being Dempsey, Carraday, and Wallace, as one of the SRL drivers goes round. Morgan Burkhardt's still going around, but he's not going to get a lap in. I'm going to have to forget about my train of thought because race 1 is on its way. Let's go to the starter cam and then have a look at the grid. It looks like this. Morgan Burkhardt is sitting on pole position. It's an all-sports 1-2. Jake Cranston on the front row with him. Fabian Siegman and Dan Mulder, your second row. Stephen King and Stefan Scheller. Austin Farr and Eric Mannenfeld for street casuals on row 4. We then have, that is too far, don't do that again, Steve Hailwood and Arthur Thurtle, Mark Draper and David Corpus, Ike LeQuay and Stephen Fry, Matt Sanderson and Henry Morse round off your top 16, Duncan Murray and Sam Van Olst there on the 9th row, and on row 10 is Joe Gibson and Dan Thornton, a Goldwing pair, followed by an ORD pair, followed by a Meatball Motorsports pair with Jesus Mundre and Jan Weiswanger, Carl Ridley and Roman Peschke, and John Bailiff, Brandon Hughes and James Parfitt rounding off the field in 27th place. And that is our grid for race 1 of the official season. A point going to pole position, which in this case is Morgan Burkhardt, who takes an early lead to the championship by 1 point. Is it too late to join this league with my team, says Frederick LeJohn? Unfortunately it is. It is now closed. The limit is 30 because it's chaotic enough with the 30 drivers, trust me. But keep an eye out. Not only does Team SRL run leagues, if you wanted to, they run it on a different day. I think they run it on Friday. Oh, that's where Carraday is. He was 2 minutes too late to register. That's a shame. He is around. Oh, man. I think, what is it? If you miss qualifying, then it's a done deal, isn't it? That's an iRacing thing, Carraday. That's not me. What was I saying? Yes, too late to join, but keep an eye out because a GR86 league might be on the horizon. But here we go. That's enough of that. It's 5 lights are on, and we are about to get underway for round 1 of the Racing Line Touring Car Championship, and they all seem to get away pretty well, actually. No one got a bogged down start like they did last time. We're going 4 wide already, though. That was Joe Gibson getting absolutely mullered on the start as they all head down towards turn 1. We've got flashing lights already from Stephen Fry, but Morgan Burkhardt takes a nice, easy lead with Fabian Siegman looking to try and pass Jake Cranston in the Honda. He's going to go around the outside of turn 2, but that is going to be very risky as Dan Mould slots into P4. He goes up the inside of Fabian Siegman. He's going to move up into P3. Fabian's going to be vulnerable now to Stephen King in the Honda. He's going to move up into P4. Fabian is going to get a little bit mugged here, and look at this. This is Austin Farr and Stefan Scheller side by side into the fast left-hander. Down towards the hairpin we go. And everyone behind, do you know what? I don't think anyone's gone off. I spoke too soon. Stephen Fry's off. Ike LeQuay is off. That's a big crash. Who is involved? James Parfitt's had a crash as well. Dan Mould has his bad luck continues. How is Dan collect? That's so similar to Media Day. And there's more crashes into the next corner. Matt Anderson is involved. Ike LeQuay is off. And it is chaos in the mid-pack. But at the front, 1 second in the lead is Morgan Burkhardt. Fabian Siegman now back up into P3. Stephen King P4. Stefan Scheller, Austin Farr and Arthur Thurtle still up there for Team SRL. We should be able to have a look at some replays of that as it all settles down, as they all head down towards the hairpin. Morgan and Cranston next to one another on the grid. Exciting, says Andre. I don't know if that's sarcasm or not, but it is kind of. I'm surprised people aren't trying to get back to the pits, but then there is a new damage model on these cars, and I don't fully know how they go. But let's have a look at this. Jesus Amundere went off track Was it by himself at turn 2? That's the pretty standard one, I think. He put the throttle on too early, touched the grass, got dragged off. Told you that would happen. Dan Mould. What happened to Dan? This is into the hairpin. Let's get a better view of this. Oh, this is interesting. So, I wonder if that was Dan just turning in early. I thought he got collected by the Meatball Motorsport car, but Jake Cranston was on his inside. Dan's turned in. I think he's lost the rear and gone off, but then behind was more incidents. There's the Meatball Motorsport car that I assumed was involved. So what happened to Stephen Fry? Didn't brake in time. He's driven into the back of Ika. Matsborg Anderson's involved. Oh! The SRL Audi of Draper nearly getting fully caught up in that as well. On first look, from my point of view, I think that was Stephen's brakes, to be honest, and it looks like he's got a damaged wheel. Mark Draper went off track. We saw that. Brandon Hughes crashed. What happened to Brandon? We need to have a look at what happened to Morgan as well, who has currently lost the lead. We will go back live. Let's have a look if I can find what's happened to Morgan. Here it is. He's gone off by himself at turn 1, and Jake will be giggling to himself because he inherits the lead. Morgan slides back onto the circuit slowly, but does not cause any issues with Stefan Scheller, Stephen King, Austin Farr, and Arthur Thurtle there in the Honda trio. Let's go back live and actually see what is happening in this race. So that is how Morgan lost the lead by himself. Dan Mould is still in P17 after that incident. Dan Thornton up into P16. Roman Peschke, after let's say a shambles of a qualifying compared to the pace in practice, is up into 15th place. John Bailiff is up into 14th place after his quali issues. Carl Ridley is up 10 positions in 13th. He's got Sam Van Olst up next. Let's have a look at the intervals so we can see who is closest to who, and that helps none of us because the orange gaps are close. The yellow gaps are close and the orange gaps are closer. The white gaps not so much there, as we see some more contact. That's Eric Mannenfeld off the circuit. I think he's going to be okay to rejoin. I wonder. Oh, that's a damaged Lurchus car there as well up the road. That's David Corpus. His car is broken. Look at that suspension. I've not seen it. Maybe that's part of the new damage model. Can we get a closer look at that broken wheel? Look at that wheel. Oh, David. What has happened to that man? I'm guessing he's going to escape. Let's see if we can see a replay of what happened to David. He got caught by Eric Mannenfeld's sliding car. That's annoying. Although I think there was an earlier incident here. Oh no, it was Eric going off on the grass on the exit. Slid into David. That's unfortunate. That's a shame actually for the Lurchus car. He was probably doing quite well. But this is what it looks like from the rear of Jake Cranston's car, who's currently in the lead. We're on lap 3 of 9 here at Phillip Island, and Fabian Siegmann is all over the back of Jake Cranston in the All Sports racing car. Team Hussigveld really laying the mark, as we've got All Sports followed by Team Hussigveld, followed by All Sports, followed by Team Hussigveld, followed by Pulsus, Street Casuals. In fact, you know what will be easier than me saying all this? Have a look at this. There you go. Now you can see all the teams. Zero Forks giving up there in the top 10 as well with their new Audi driver. Street Casuals still have 2 cars. Goldwing have entered the top 10 with Sam Van Olst's Audi. Duncan Murray currently down in 22nd after an earlier incident. Mark Draper seemingly did get damage from that accident, as he is in 25th, which is a shame. And this looks like a move from Fabian, who's going around he's on the inside here. I've lost where we are on the circuit. Oh, it's down towards the hairpin, so he's got the move done before the braking zone. Jake's going to try and get a switchback on the exit. Can he get the run? This is where he's now heading down towards the dangerous corner. This is going to put a little bit of fear, I think, in the All Sports boys, but they are very good at practicing and finding that speed. So we've kind of proud ourselves. Let's go with prided. That's not a word, but we'll stick with it. On improvement throughout seasons with mixing all of these drivers together with such large grids. It's a different experience to official racing here. I know I don't get to race with these boys that much, as Jake has a quick look to the inside. Didn't scare him this time, but I'm sure he's going to keep that going, and Morgan Burkhart's definitely going to be giving him a push to try and help the situation. But Sam Van Olst is actually closing down on Henry Morse as well. What is going on here? This looks extremely close. This is what it looks like from the top of Sam Van Olst's car as he chased down that Street Casuals Audi, which is bright orange. I've just looked over to see the viewers, and there seems to be a lot of you across all 4 channels, so welcome. If this is the first time joining us here on the Racing Line channel, whether it's YouTube or Twitch, or of course VCO eSports YouTube and Twitch, powered by GT Omega. There's a discount code TRL5, but let's not do that advert too much in the race, because Sam Van Olst is looking around the outside of turn 1. He backs out. He gets back on the throttle a little bit early. Can't quite get alongside Henry Morse, who defends. Fabian Siegmann and Cranston are very close. There's only a 10th between them, but Sam and Henry are also feisty drivers that I kind of want to watch. There's very much 2 strong battles across this field right now, and Jake Cranston is looking around the outside of the hairpin where he got passed before, but on the brakes is Fabian Siegmann, and he gets a good exit. And now look at Morgan Burkhardt, the number 1 car is going to make it alongside, but he's going to back out. They need to be careful because Stefan Scheller is not far behind, and this is very much a 2x2 fight for the 2 teams right now. Stephen King currently holding his own for Pulsus Esports. They're going to be a little bit gutted that 1 driver is down, and I think it's not the only round that Pulsus might be missing a driver. It's a shame because they look strong for another team's championship, but it looks like, I mean, if these guys are going to keep up this pace, and I think SRL, if their luck can change, they don't count them out after this 1 race. They've got 3 races per round. There's 7 rounds in total. That's 21 races. Quick maths. Don't worry, I can do it. We're on lap 5 of 9. We're past the halfway point. Also quick maths. Thank you very much. But Jake Cranston will not be giving up this first win easy. This will be the one. This is the pride race. Who takes the first official win of the season? Jake is very much in the slipstream right now as they head down towards turn 1. I love this camera angle. Look at this as they swoop past the apex of turn 1. Jake Cranston round the outside in the Honda of the Hyundai. Look at the dab of the brakes from the Hyundai as he had to scrub off speed. And now Morgan Burkhardt's going to put him under pressure as Jake slams on the brakes for turn 2. Does not run wide. Doesn't open up the inside. And that is a lovely move from the 2-time Jetta Cup champion. But Morgan Burkhardt, last year's RLTC champion, will be watching this. His teammate is now in the lead. Look at Siegmann. He's going to go around the outside of the hairpin. Morgan is going to follow his teammate through side by side towards the hairpin. But look how late on the brakes the Team Usigval car is. And now Jake, he's very much still got a car on his left. The number 31 car of Siegmann has the inside for the next corner, and Morgan Burkhardt couldn't follow through, and now look, Scheller's through. They're side by side. It's 2x2 for Husingveld and All Sports, and Stephen King must be thinking, come on boys, send one of those cars off the circuit because he wants to pick up some places. Jake Cranston still side by side with Siegmann as they go down towards the hairpin, and Jake retakes the lead as they go up the hill into the blind left-hander. All Sports Racing remain in the lead, and look at Morgan Burkhardt down the inside of the hairpin. He's trying to throw the number 31 car off. Daredevil says my mic was a bit close. That was just me shouting. I apologize for that. I've moved it further away. But Jake Cranston now half a second in the lead, and look at Morgan Burkhardt. He's all over the back of Fabian. He wants to get past. This is what it looks like on top. In fact, let's go inside the Morgan Burkhardt car. The Hyundai for All Sports Racing. He doesn't look like he's very much in the slipstream as Jake was. That was good English, but ignore that. As we head down towards turn 1, Jake was much alongside on the previous lap, lap 7 of 9, and Scheller behind is still very much in this. And this is what it looks like behind Stefan Scheller. He's got the Pulsus Honda all over the back of him, and behind him is the Street Casuals Honda of Austin Farr. That was a nice move on Cranston, says Andre. This could be an excited season on the front end of the grid for sure. And do you know what? I'm not going to lie. I probably shouldn't say this, but honesty is the best policy, right? I'm always apprehensive at the start of these races as we see Dan Thornton go off onto the grass, turning his ORD Hyundai into a lawnmower, but he comes back on and carries on his race. As, in fact, Team Bingo alert. What was the phrase? Tossing the salad, as the old phrase goes. Henry Morse and Kyle Ridley side by side. I think that was Henry making a move. Oh, Kyle had a big swapper on the exit then. I don't know if that was him touching the grass, but John Bailiff's about to come through behind as well. Kyle Ridley losing 2 places, and he's got Dan Mold and Roman Perschke also behind side by side as they head towards the blind left-hander. There's battles all over the place. I don't know what to watch. We're on lap 7 of 9. We're about to enter lap 8 of 9, and John Bailiff, I think, is safe. Henry Morse is even safer. Gets a bit of a touch from behind the Goldwing car. John Bailiff is up 14 positions right now, and definitely made the most gains in this race so far. So if there's an award for most overtakes, it'll probably go to him right now. But then again, Dan Mould started near the front, went to the back, and he's trying to climb his way back up. The stats won't say that. It says he lost 9 places right now, but he definitely dropped further than this, and he's back into the top 12, which is a good position to claim some points in the next 2 races. But he's got to defend as he moves past Carl Ridley, and Roman Peshke's also on the inside of the Hyundai side-by-side through turn 1. Oh, get a bit of a wiggle on. Can't run Carl too far off. Carl still has the inside for turn 2. This is exciting stuff. Fantastic racing all the way down through the field. Keep me updated on the sound, Bear Devil, because this is exciting and I cannot contain it as Siegmund looks like he's gone backwards into the hairpin. I thought he'd made a move for turn 1, but Siegmund's off. Fabian Siegmund for Team Husingveld is off the circuit. Scheller is still there, but the podium is now All Sports 1-2. And Team Husingveld, we need to find a replay of what happened to that man. Was it contact? Was it squeezing? I think I found it. Oh, no. I don't know. That's a close call. Let's have another look in slow motion. And can we have an overhead look? I think that Morgan might get the blame for that on first appearances. Let me know what you think in chat on that. But I think that door was shut before his car was there. And Siegmund off the circuit. That's the first call first. That's just what I'm saying. It's what I'm seeing. But you let me know what you think. Burkhardt with the cold-hearted kill, says Kakalert. Something will have to be done quick about that man if it was Burkhardt's fault, because he's about to start the next race in P5. But that's a shame for... I can't even see Fabian now. He's down in 15th, so he is back in the race. And again, that's actually a good place because the top 12 get reversed in race 3. So he's got race 2 to make it back up. Nifty Chap says outrageous. Thank you for joining. It was a bit outrageous. I'm going to stand by what I said. I know it was touch and go and accidents happen, but I don't think that inside line was quite there. You could say it was late from Fabian, but they weren't really alongside, I think. But it is touring cars. Oh, it's just so hard to decide. But less than a second, pretty much. Just over a second separates these top 5 right now. Henry Morse is chasing down Dan Mould, who I actually think just passed him. There's more fighting going on behind. I think Roman was putting Kyle under pressure there. And we've got another Husingveld car off. Why? How? Goes down the inside of John Bailiff, who covers the inside. Oh, he's just broken late. Has he just broken late? Yeah, he's broken. Gone straight on in the Honda, the number 25 car. Let's go back live because I saw the white flag out. Is the race over? Not quite. This is the final lap, though. Jake Cranston enters into the final hairpin. Biggie Morello says, welcome, Raiders. I can't see what that raid was, so thank you, whoever it is. But here they come round the final turn. Jake Cranston and Morgan Burkhardt currently 1-2 as they come towards the start-finish line. I'm trying to find a certain camera which would look nice, but it's too late. They're flashing their lights. Here it is. There we go. Jake Cranston, Morgan Burkhardt, Team Husingveld, Stephen King and Austin Farr. That's Stefan Scheller in the Husingveld car. Thurtle comes home in P6. Halewood for Zero Folks given in P7. Vernolst P8. Dan Mould does make it back to the top 10. Morse, Bailiff, Manintveld and Ridley. And then we've got Siegmund and Peshke there. Yeah. And then who's this in the Meatball Motorsport? That's a Mundere in the top 16. Brandon Hughes is going to come home in 17th. Gibson, Thornton, Murray, and Anderson. Well, do you know what? After VIR, I don't think it's unfair of me saying that that's a disappointing race for ORD. We saw Dan Thornton go off once. Not really sure what happened to Joe. Maybe just struggling here at Phillip Island this weekend. Mats Anderson is definitely out of position. I feel like we saw Mats involved in an early crash. He was down 6 places in the end in 21st, so he did qualify higher than that. Duncan Murray. Ika Lequay was down 10 places. Corpus, Draper, and Fry. I think Draper ended up sitting out the race. 5 laps down, so most of the race out for Draper after being involved in that early incident. No time for rest, no time for a drink, because you know what time it is. It's race 2 time. There will be a break after this one, a short break, about 5-6 minutes. But for now, we are jumping straight in to race 2. Same length, 9 laps. This is the grid. Top 6 get reversed. Steve Hellwood. Or is it top 8? No, it must be top 6. It's top 6. Steve Hailwood, who ended up finishing P6, is there in first place. Arthur Thurtle is second. Austin Farr, King, Stefan Scheller, and Jake Krantz. Morgan Burkhardt's gone. That's why it's all shuffled round. We then have Sam Van Olst and Dan Mould rounding off your top 4 rows. Henry Morse, John Bailiff, your top 10. Eric Mannenfeld, Carl Ridley, Fabian Siegman, Roman Perschke, Jesus Amundere, Brandon Hughes, Joe Gibson, Dan Thornton, Duncan Murray. Morgan Burkhardt is now down in 20th. Matt Sanderson, Jan Weisfanger, Ike Lequay, David Corpus, Mark Draper, and Stephen Fry round off your 27 drivers. I can hear revving engines already. Does that mean the lights are on? It does. Did not get much time to read out that grid at all, and away they go. Steve Hailwood from pole position is under pressure already, I think, from Arthur Thurtle in the Honda, but a clean getaway for the drivers once again. Can they survive the first lap with no incidents? And Arthur Thurtle for Team SRL moves straight into the lead. Hailwood under pressure from more Hondas behind. It's a Honda Armada. Oh, that's Dan Mould again, is it? It's definitely Mould again. I don't know if I should laugh or cry for this man. He's in the wall. What is happening to this boy? How can you have worse luck? Is it luck? Is it not? I'm not sure. But the answer to the question, can they survive the first lap? No. Arthur Thurtle into the hairpin. Steve Hailwood still in P2, so he's doing well for Zero Folks Giving. Martin Wallace might be watching this on the other side of America thinking, well, go on, boy. You're in a podium position right now, but you've got to hold it for a number of laps, and you've got Cranston right behind you as Joe Gibson has crashed in the background. He was stopped at the hairpin for Team ORD. Another issue for them. Henry Morse is down there, so I'm guessing he was the one that had a potential issue with Dan Mould there at the start through turn 2. Side by side, the Hyundais behind of Eric Mannenfeld and John Bailiff. Eric Mannenfeld slotting back in to P8. But look at John on the brakes, squirreling, wiggling through. Just about saved that car. So well done, that man. Did not take out Eric, but that was some sketchy stuff. He would have. That was a brown pants moment. Seat of the what stuff? I don't know what I'm trying to say there. There's a saying there somewhere. Just go with me. Go with the flow. Ike Lequay into the final turn is losing position, so he's had a slow exit. Gets passed by James Parfitt there in the Audi. Duncan Murray's off onto the grass. Can he get back on circuit? Yes, he can. Mats Borg Anderson comes through, and Dan Thornton is... Oh, that was close. And there's a Team Husingveld car off as well. That's the Hyundai, I think, of Fabian Siegman. It's going to take me a while to learn the new teams. Corpus is swapping over. Draper's moving up. He's up into 20th place already after starting near the back. Duncan Murray has just been passed by... Oh, never mind. Dan Thornton's gone off the circuit at turn 1 by himself. That was a big... That was fast as well. Is he... Oh, that's going to be a dangerous thing. Oh, okay. Well done. Well done, Dan Thornton, for whipping the back end around like that. This is what the front looks like. Half a second. Arthur Thurtle is not pulling away, but Steve Hailwood under pressure from Jake Cranston into the hairpin he goes. Jake is looking feisty. Turns in early there on the Audi of Hailwood. Just marking his stamp there. Marking his territory. Stamping his authority. Mix those two together. But he goes through into P2, and now Austin Farr's going to want to come through as quick as he can because he knows that he can chase down Jake Cranston with the pace that he's got. He's got this Team Husingveld, Stephen Scheller behind in the Audi and currently in P5. Sam Van Olst is up into P7. The Belgian driver doing well for Goldwing. These two still going at it. John Bailiff and Mannenfeld. The Dutch driver versus the British driver. Where have we seen that before? Not Formula 1. No one watches that. No way. But number 99, 22, down towards the hairpin. And the Dutch driver, Eric Mannenfeld, might come out on top. Unless John can hold it around the outside, in which he can because he leans on the rear of Eric Mannenfeld. They're still side by side into the next corner. This is tight stuff from these two. Into the fast left-hander they go, which is pretty much flat. And Eric Mannenfeld has to slot behind, but he's under pressure from the Team Husingveld Hyundai. The number 31 of Siegman trying to come through as well. Down towards turn 1 they go. It's a three-way Hyundai fight. Who's going to go side by side? I think Eric's got the run again on John here. He's going to go around the outside of turn 1. John throws it into the right-hander, leans on him. That's a dangerous place to do that because it'll spit you off onto the grass. Eric Mannenfeld tries to be as late on the brakes, and look at this. Is this 5 Hyundais? That is Burkhard off with contact with Ridley, the Goldwing Hyundai of Ridley. Burkhard is off the circuit and goes back down the order. And this is why anyone can win this championship, because we've got quick drivers left, right and centre flying off the circuit. Eric Mannenfeld, though, under pressure from the Husingveld car. I think that was a fair defence. There's more contact on the exit, but Eric's car very much ahead. So Eric Madenveld keeping that position, but John Bailiff now trying to go around the outside of Siegman. This is a very tight fight. Let's have a look at this just because I can do it. This is what it looks like in terms of Hondas, Hyundais and Audis. So this is the lead Hyundai fight right now. Madenveld is first place in the Hyundais with Siegman and Bailiff your podium sitters. So they're fighting for the win, and Ridley's right there as well, as is Corpus by the looks of it. No, sorry, not Corpus. Those timings are wrong. Ignore that. But the lead fight, which is Arthur Thurtle and Jake Cranston, is the Hondas. So that's looking fairly close. And the Audi fight is Halewood and Scheller, which is also right behind in the top. So the top 4 are your top 2 fights across the cars. Can get confusing if we look at it like that, so I'll get rid of that. Although I can also do this. If you want to see the strength of field for those watching at home, bearing in mind there's 10 drivers in each class, which is actually quite a lot. Not all of them are here, though, as we see a slow Meatball Motorsport car there. That was the Honda, so that'll be Weisfanger that was moving out the way of this lead fight. We can see Thurtle and Cranston going side by side, and I think Cranston is about to take the lead into turn 2. I don't know. I did hear a bit of contact. I'm not sure if that was a rub-in racing moment, but Thurtle down into P2. Jake Cranston takes the lead of this race. Sam Van Alst is moving over for some reason. I think he's just defending. He's under pressure from a lot of these guys. And look at this, Eric Madenveld round the outside. He's slow, is Sam Van Alst. Has he got a problem in that Audi? Because he doesn't look like, yeah, he's gone straight on. He couldn't get the car stopped. We've got an issue for Sam Van Alst, and I don't know what to say because he was doing really well. Let's have a look at some replays. There's always action, so this is going to annoy some people, but we need to find out what happened. This is Joe Gibson at the start on lap 1. Broke on the grass, spun round by himself. Jan Weisfanger. This is going to be by himself. I think the same thing. Oh, no, this is a different corner. A bit of a knock from Corpus there onto the gravel. Ooh, that's okay. I think Corpus gave it back. Corpus is still behind. Duncan Murray went off. Keeping an eye on that fight on my left-hand side. Don't worry, guys. But how did Duncan go off? I think we saw this on the final turn. Dan Thornton went off. He's already off by himself. Henry Morse had an accident with Dan Mould, and I can't see. I want to see. Is this it? Henry Morse, where is it? Where is it? So this is the start accident. Oh, Dan! Do you know what? I see. Keep saying Dan's having bad luck. That was Henry's luck, actually. Dan Mould on the grass and round. Let's go back live briefly to see what it looks like. Jake Cranston has pulled out an 8/10 gap on Thurtle, who is under pressure from Scheller, who's going around the outside of the hairpin. Can't get it done. Austin Farr's looking feisty there. Matt's in P12, if you could just keep it on track, says Andre Mayerek. In chat, Mats is currently now in P8. So James Parfitt actually in the Audi is currently in reverse pole for All Sports Racing. That is, he will be over the moon with that after VIR. I imagine he's going to be buzzing if he can stay in that position. But he has got Roman Perschke there right behind him, who I think is about to take that honour from him. He's going to have a look around the outside of this S where we saw the car go off earlier. Oh, contact, and they're both off. That is Roman Perschke and James Parfitt coming together. Husingveld and All Sports. Another incident. Just tight racing there. Can't really, from the angle we saw it at, I can't call that. We have got a live steward. I'm sure he'll watch it. I reckon that was a lean 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Let's go for that. I think they both lent on each other there. That would be unfair of me to call, really, from this angle, to be honest. I wonder if we can see a replay. Can't quite see. Let's have a look from above. Oh, there's a little bit of netcode involved there, to be honest. Roman moved right to open up the corner. But there was a good foot between those cars. That's annoying. I haven't decided how to deal with netcode, to be honest. I wouldn't like to portion blame after watching that replay, but it is what it is. Mats Anderson looks like he's having a fight with someone. I think it's Carl Ridley down towards the hairpin. We're on lap 6 of 9. Only 3 laps left, and Matsborg Andersen is still very much there on the inside of the Goldwing car, and he's got Erik Maninfeld in the Hyundai in front of him. Street Casuals doing very well, 2nd and 6th right now. Henry Morse had the unfortunate issue on lap 1, not his fault. Got collected by a spinning car from the grass. Scheller and King also... Oh, hang on a minute. This is Arthur Thurtle having a loss of position, I think, as the 69 car is having a look around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the final turn. The Audi of Stefan Scheller, the Icelandic driver. Got German flags on the car. Didn't have Icelandic flags on the template. Maybe that's why. He could have added them. We can sort that. But he's got the Icelandic flag on the timing screen, and it looks like Arthur Thurtle might have got the better run out the corner and keeps P3. Stephen King is looking to take advantage of this as well as they head down towards turn 1. Is the Audi going to get enough of a run? Has he got enough grunt to get to the inside? Oh, that camera angle always makes it look so tight through there. But Arthur Thurtle putting up an absolutely sterling defence here from the Audi, and if he can just position his car in the right way without contact, he could let that Pulsar's car through and effectively give himself a bit more breathing room, unless he thinks he's going to come under pressure from the Brit behind. Matsborg Andersen is about 5 seconds back. Scheller looks to the outside, can't get it done there. Ooh, he does stick a little nose in. Oh, that's the contact. And, okay, never mind. He lets him keep that. That was unlucky contact from Stephen King. It looks like that's the break that Arthur Thurtle needed. And the battle continues. This is on board Stephen King inside the Honda. We've been on board a Hyundai. We've been on board a Honda. Should we have a look at an Audi wheel? Which Audi should we have a look at? I wonder if Stephen's got damage, actually, or Stefan's got damage. Let's have a look on board after that touch on the rear. Sounds okay. He's not working the wheel too much. It's hard to tell with these front-wheel drive cars because, I mean, they understeer on every corner that they can. Let's hear if he lifts off into this final turn. There was a slight lift there. I think that's how you do it. He was on board with Dan in qualifying. He lifted off a lot on the exit, but I think it was just a surprise understeer at the time. That sounded more like it in this Audi. It was a slight lift on entry to get the nose in and then got his foot back down. Let's go to a different camera. Who else is fighting out there? Maninfeld is still very much fighting with Kyle Ridley here. Kyle Ridley, I feel like, has been in the absolute wars, but Duncan Murray's back up into P9. He's in a Goldwing sandwich, is Erik Maninfeld. Let's have a look at the old battles box. Is this going to be helpful? Is this a useful graphic? It's okay, I guess. Battle for 6th right now. That's not correct, is it? I guess so. Oh, it is, because Matsborg Andersen is there. Oh, look at that. Erik Maninfeld launches it on the brakes. That's, well, it's handed Duncan Murray a position. I think Eric's going to let him have that back. He does let him have that back. Is he going to lose another position as a result? Jesus Amundere is going to look around the outside. That was optimistic. Kyle will be annoyed, but at the same time, the team is going to get more points. Duncan Murray will be giggling to himself. The South African driver up into P7 in just race 2 of the season. And Kyle Ridley, unfortunately, getting moved out the way. But there it is. Goldwing sandwich, plus you don't call sandwich by the bread, but the filling. Street casual sandwich with Goldwing bread. Kakula, you got a point. Stop bullying me. I get it. I failed English, alright? Just because I'm English, I failed it. Goldwing sandwich. Why have I never thought that before? Everyone always explains it as the bread, though. In racing terms. How insane is that? Think about it. Sandwich between 2 cars. That's why. You're just playing with my mind thinking of bread sandwiches. The street casuals jam sandwich. Austin Fart, speaking of street casuals, is very much in P2. We can get rid of that battles box. That doesn't look nice anymore. We've seen the strength of field for a while as well. Let's have a look, compare the best lap times across the 3 cars. Everyone always talks about BOP, balance of power. Let's have a look at Fabian Siegman as well, because he looks like he's looking feisty with Stephen Fry. Another pair of Hyundais on track fighting it out as we go on to the final lap. We are on the final lap. Jake Cranston leading the way, but these two side by side. The best lap of the Hondas 138.7. Best lap of the Audis, 138.7. Best lap of the Hyundais, 138.6. Oh, Stephen Fry really lent on that Husingveld car on the exit there. That was interesting. That might be looked at, to be fair. It depends on... it could be classed as touring car racing, though. But from that angle, it really looked like he squeezed to keep that position. Good effort. Jesus Amundare is looking to gain a position here on Corpus. An old teammate that's in the Lurchus car. Jesus is technically a Lurchus driver, but he's in a meatball car right now. So is he going to fight for that position? I'm sure he will, but he's got the Audi of Mark Draper behind, who's up into P12. He's going to start the next race on pole position at this rate. He's up 14 places from the back. This is how your race can turn around in one round, but he's under pressure from the Meatball Motorsport car of Stephen Fry, who's on the inside of the final corner. And look at that, the Husingveld car might get the inside line as well, and I feel like Draper might lose 2 spots here. I think the Husingveld car does have the run as they head down towards turn 1. That's Sigmund in the Hyundai. I will start remembering that, I promise. But Draper, he's already lost the position. And look at Fry going through as well. Do you know what? I've just realised it's the end of the race. That's why. I lost track of time. Someone didn't tell me in chat. Come on. It's like you're acting like this is my job to do this. But Jake Cranston takes the win for race 2. Austin Farr comes home in P2. And Arthur Thurtle making it a full Honda podium here at Phillip Island for race 2. I'm just going to open up the website. We have a website, guys and girls, by the way. Muddy in chat on YouTube says Superman he done very well there in P8. What was I saying? We have a website, theracingline.org. If you go on theracingline.org, there are some tabs at the top. It's very easy to use. There's one that says Volkswagen Jetta Cup and one that says RLTC. You click on RLTC, you can see not only the schedule and an awesome gallery provided by VCO eSports' resident photographer, Kakula. We have all the race results from the previous season, and of course this season will be updated throughout the week. We'll have the standings and the team's championship so you can keep updated. My favourite page, the statistics page, which is regularly updated. And the reason I want to come here is because that is a full Honda podium. And I just want to let you know, because this is round 1, the stats that I'm about to read out during this 5-minute break. By the way, it's 5-minute break time. So if you want to go get a drink, go have a little relax. For drivers as well, if you need to go toilet, go now, or just go in the car, the sim, whatever you're going to do. It's up to you, not my business. But in this time, I will give you some stats as well as have a drink myself. Website racingline.org. Right, the Audi was the clear strong car last season. We mentioned that already. Okay, let me get a bit of a nicer view for you. There's a scenic cam somewhere which I think would be better if it works. I guess we can have this up if you want. No, why's the font changed? Is anyone else seeing that, or is that just me? That's weird. Anyway, try not to get too distracted. In fact, I can have the results on the screen for you of that last race. There you go. Even though the font has changed, we won't worry about that too much, because you can still read it. Right, the Audi was the clear strong car last season. Good evening, says Kieran Dickerson. Welcome to the YouTube chat. Thank you for commenting. Nifty Chap says, wow, sweating face. I don't know if that's because I forgot the finish or because he's enjoying the races. Go put it on your TV, Nifty Chap, and get your Bose sound system on. Is it Bose or was it Sonos? It was Sonos. My mistake. The Audis, 36 races there were last season in total. It was 12 rounds, 3 races in each round. It was absolutely insane. It was too long, to be honest. We've got 7 rounds this season, 21 races in total. We then have the stats. The Audi did take the championship with Morgan Burkhardt. They took 22 wins in total and 60 podiums. 60 podiums is crazy. They took 4 pole positions out of the 12 fastest laps. Their highest finish was obviously first, and their highest highest grid position was first as well. The Honda was the second car, and get this, it's pretty much half as good. It was half as good across the season. Wins, 10 compared to the 22. Podiums, 33 compared to the 60. Poles, though, 8 doubled the pole positions of the Audi, and that's do you know what? It's thanks to Matt Sanderson there, who's currently in P6, who's also driving a Honda this season. He got many of those pole positions, just couldn't turn them into a win, unfortunately. Highest finish first for the Honda, highest grid first for the Honda. The Hyundai, and this is where it gets funny, because the Hyundai is clearly a lot stronger now than it was, wins 4. Only 4 wins across all of those races for the Hyundai. Podiums 15, no pole positions, 4 fastest laps. Highest finish was first, highest grid second place. That was Dan Downing, I think, in Knock Hill for Goldwing. I might have just made that up, but I feel like Dan did pretty well at Knock Hill. And that's the difference between the cars last season. Honda have just bagged 3 podiums right there. So this is going to be insane. Kieran Dickinson says, when does the racing start? Well, you've missed 2 races, Kieran, but you're in time for the 3rd race, which is in about 3 minutes' time. 9 laps, the 3rd and final race of tonight before we do driver interviews and have a rundown of what happened today. But first of all, let's go through the top 10 of both of those races because I feel like that's all we have time for. Do you reckon I can get through everyone? Let's try and get through everyone. I didn't have a drink yet, but it is what it is. Cranston, Farr, Thurtle, Scheller, King, Anderson, Murray, Manintveld, Ridley, and Corpus. They're your top 10. Jesus and Mundere, top 11. Stephen Fry. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a Meatball Motorsport front row for race 3. Jesus and Stephen will be starting 1st and 2nd. Mark Draper is in 13th. He missed out on the reverse pole in the end by 0.3 of a second. Fabian Siegman there in 14th. Morgan Burkhardt back up to 15th. Ika Lequay 16th. John Bailiff was 17th. Steve Halewood 18th. Roman Perschke in 19th. 20th, Joseph Gibson. Dan Thornton in 21st. James Parfitt in 22nd in the end. He was looking so strong in race 2. And maybe he can get back up there in race 3. Brandon Hughes in 23rd. Sam Van Alst down in 24th in the end after a bizarre issue. I'm not sure what happened to Sam because he was looking strong and just pulled over. Henry Morse was down in 25th after the issue at the start. He was on the lead lap. Jan Weisfanger, 26th, 2 laps down. Dan Mold was 5 laps down. I keep feeling sorry for Dan. And it's because I know he's such a strong driver. But both of the mistakes I think I've seen so far was him, I think. Well, the first one, actually, I can't say it was him. The second one was definitely him. The first one, it looked like from our angle he turned in too early, but I haven't seen it from above, so I'm not sure on that. There's only 1 minute left, so the results of the first race that you might have missed: Cranston, Scheller, King, Farr, Thurtle, Halewood, Van Alst, Mould, Morse, and Bailiff was your top 10. And then it was Manintveld, Ridley, Siegman, Perschke, Amundere, 15th, Hughes, Gibson, Thornton, Murray, Burkhardt was 20th, Anderson, Weisfanger, Lequay, Parfitt, Corpus, Draper, and Fry round off your field. Obviously 3 drivers missing today, but not a problem as we get rid of those results because we are about to tick over. I don't know why the font has changed. It's still like it. Valdez31 says, wait, what? Jesus time, says Miguel Theo. Yes, it is. I'm not making the music mistake. Don't worry, guys. That was regular last season. But we do need to do that grid nice and quickly. This is your grid. Fry, Amundere, Corpus, Ridley, Manintveld, Murray, Anderson and King, your top 8. Scheller and Thurtle round off your top 5 rows. Farr, Cranston, Draper, Siegman, Burkhardt, Lequay, Bailiff, Halewood, Perschke, Gibson round off your top 20. Thornton, Parfitt, Hughes, Sam Van Alst, Henry Morse, Jan Weisfanger and Dan Mould in 27th place, rounding off your race 3 grid. Your final race for today. And there is your Meatball Motorsport front row with a Lurchus Gaming car in 3rd. Hashtag Jesus time, says Miguel Theo. I'm a little bit gutted, Caraday, that you missed it by a couple minutes because, I mean, yes, 28 drivers would have been nice, but look at the racing, man. This race at Phillip Island, what a circuit. Race 3 is about to get underway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights are on. They went out extremely quickly. There's always a delay between the lights and the cars for whatever reason. And look at the ORD at Gibson making moves already. That's the ZFG going slowly. They're going to go 4 wide. That's Henry Morse very much up against the wall as they were all coming down there 4 wide. That's the All Sports Racing of Cranston moving over. And look at that. That's the Lurchers car of Corpus. Straight into the lead and past both Meatball cars. He's gone from 3rd to 1st. And that is Eric Mannenveld as well, who's on the outside of the Meatball Audi of Jesus Amundere. He's going to put up a fight in that position. He always has done. He always will do. And there's going to be a bottleneck because I think I saw a car go off behind. Is that another one of the Husingveld boys? I think that might be Roman Perschke, who may have got on the grass. They're all here for fun. I hope they're still feeling that way in voice chat. I didn't actually check if voice chat is off. I haven't heard any comments, so it must be. Oh my God, I can't. Do you know what? I can't even digest the information of what just happened in that hairpin, to be honest. But there's cars everywhere. That's Thornton on the inside of Henry Morse and Vanolf. He might be making a move there. Can he get the run? I think Morse is not going to get the run. Sam Vanolf's flashing headlights again. That's what we like to see. Let's have a quick look and see if he's still going to do that all the way up this straight. Oh, a bit of a lift there for James Parfitt. Sam going to go down the inside of the hairpin. They're going to go downhill. He's got a little bit of a wheel there. I think he's going to try it. Oh, he doesn't get on the brakes as late as James, though. He is still on the inside. Giving room is Parfitt there, but Vanolf's not making that move. Let's go back to the front of the grid. Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence because I'm trying to read stuff at the same time. And that is Austin Farr moving over. For some reason, I wonder if he made contact with someone and feels that he has to give the position back as Corpus throws it into turn 1. 6 tenths in the lead currently. Stephen Fry in 2nd. Mannenveld 3rd, making it a Hyundai 1-2-3 now. That'll boost their podiums if it can stay like this. But Mats Borg Andersen, the Norwegian driver, is very much there for Team ORD, looking to claim a podium. The number 76 car, Stephen King's up there again. Kyle Ridley has been having a good day. It says he lost 2 positions, but he's been up there regularly throughout. Jesus Mundre is still in the top 7, so Fry holding on tightly to that podium. Jesus not losing too many places, but here he goes into the hairpin. He has got the very fast Austin Farr behind. Arthur Thurtle side by side with Jake Cranston. These two have fought in a couple of series now, and they will know exactly where to put their cars. But I tell you who they also need to watch, and it's Duncan Murray, who taps the rear of one of the Hondas. He goes round Damon, trying to pick a side. Does survive. Duncan chooses to hold his brakes. Smart decision in case he rolled in front of the rest of them. Oh, that's not though. He's going to drive into that wall. Oh, let's just pretend we didn't see it. Pretend we didn't see it, guys. Move on. Duncan Murray didn't drive into the wall. Look at this. Stephen Fry on the brakes late. Nearly goes into the back of Corpus, but this battle for P1 is not over. Mannenveld dropping back a little bit. He's 1.1 seconds down, and King is up into P4. As was King always there? I feel like he's gained a position somehow. Or maybe I'm just not paying attention. But Arthur Thurtle and Cranston still going at it. Cranston has now passed Thurtle, and Jesus Mundere is next on their order. Now this will annoy me because they're both quick enough and smart enough to work together to get past Jesus. But I'd rather them fight each other, to be honest, if they are going to work together. But hopefully the SRL pride in Arthur Thurtle. Oh, Jesus sliding around turn 1. The SRL pride in Arthur Thurtle will make him want to fight the All Sports boys, as they are very much a rival. But he's on the grass and he's round. Jesus Mundere saves his slide. Arthur Thurtle does not. The SRL car goes down the order, and All Sports Racing get handed a couple of positions, 8th and 9th, as the Meatball. Oh, that's Jesus round as well. Jesus did go off. Was it Jesus? I think it was. It says Jan Weiswanger on my screens. I think he's gone off as well. But let's see what happened to Jesus, because it looked like he saved it. What? Has he got damage? I want another look. I think he might have damage, actually, because that's a very strange spin for Jesus and Mundere. Joe Gibson has jumped to the pits. Why? Similar issue. He's already got damage there on the rear of his car. But I cannot see. there. Oh, no, there. There. That's what happened. He was coming together with a few cars near the back, and his rear wheel is damaged. But he's driving it back to the pits. He's giving it a go. Or has he escaped? No, he's escaped, I think. Never mind. I don't like this font, and the reload button is not working. Am I just being fussy as we're on lap 4 of 9? Can you read it fine as Parfit goes down the inside of Mould? And he goes wide and he's on the grass and he hands the position to 2 SRL cars. How often are we going to see that at Phillip Island? Mould slides it round turn 2. Thurtle is now racing his teammate. Is there a separate font set in SDK? It just happened. I don't know what happened. They've got server issues since the update, I think. Because every time I load this, it says internal server error sometimes, which is annoying. There is a refresh button here, but very unprofessional to do it this way. And it doesn't always work. I clicked it, and it won't do anything, see? Let's try it. No, it's done. It's stuck. We'll have to get over it. Right, let's catch back up with that lead fight because King is chasing down Manenveld for a podium. Fry is still, oh well, his top 4 are very much together. Ridley's holding on to them. Anderson in P6 for ORD. Cranston and Burkhardt in 8 and 9. They'll be happy with that for the team. Bailiff is back up into P12. Sam Van Olst is showing us up 11 places, which is true actually because he was down there, weren't he, at the bottom. He's flashing his headlights and he's nowhere near anyone. He's 7 tenths back from the next car, so he is trying to get John's attention, so he'll be giggling to himself. There he goes. He's a serial headlight flasher. What are your thoughts, chat? There's 4 channels currently watching, and I can see all of your chats. Twitch, at YouTube, Racing Line channels, VCO eSports channels. What do you think of headlight flashing? Does it get in your head? Do you think it's funny? Are you one person? Do you do it? I'm not going to lie. I do it. Because it's fun, and especially if the next person gets annoyed by it, because then you're in their head. But Jake Cranston has passed Austin Farr. I feel like Austin Farr is struggling in this race, to be honest, in race 3. Morgan Burkhardt nearly had a look there to the inside of that hairpin. As they all head down towards the dreaded turn 10. We saw so many incidents there last season. I don't think we've seen too many there this season, which is good. But I'll tell you what, an absolute shout out to this man. Do you know what I've just remembered? I don't have a driver of the day quiz for this season. And when I say that, I normally put a link in chat for you all to vote driver of the day. I don't have that link. I'll have it next week. I do have this button still. You can, if you want to vote driver of the day, just type it in chat. Everybody watching across all 4 channels, pick a driver. I'll count them at the end. Hashtag vote in chat. Just write, I don't know, DOTD and then the name of your driver. But right now, and if my memory serves me correctly, this is a man that has no wins. And he's 6 tenths in the lead as Stephen King is side by side with Eric Manenveld. And I think he's going to chuck it around the outside of turn 1. He's got it done before they even get to the turning point. And there you go. Stephen King moves up into P3 past Eric Manenveld in the Hyundai. And Kyle Ridley is now up into he's still there in P5. He's going to be chasing him down now. Mats Borg-Anderson's still trying to close that gap. It's fairly spread out, actually, comparatively to the previous races. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it, to say it's fairly spread out when the top 11 are all orange and yellow on the timing screens. Anyone going off here as Manenveld, I think, has just sent it down the hairpin on Stephen King. He loves the brakes on that corner. I wonder if that was a fair move. Richard Leach says, being a noob, I don't do headlight flashing. Busy driving. Well, okay. That's true. Never thought of it like that. But at the same time, just map it to a button that you'll accidentally press whilst you're turning. Because that's the best place to do it. Tim Stewart says, driver of the day, Dan Thornton, because he's my mate. I don't mind people voting for their mates. We've had winners before when the fan clubs have come in. I can't remember who it was. Greg Otley last season in the Jet Cup won a driver of the day purely because he had a bandwagon of fans, and that is what it's for. I think only once have we done what did F1 do that time that Mazepin got driver of the day? They just completely ignored it and picked someone else. We've done that once. only because the driver that was voted was not worthy at the time. I can't remember who it was, and there was another driver that definitely deserved it. But we won't focus on that too much. Bind headlight flashing to the gas pedal, says Kakala. People say that I do that. I have not done that. I just press the button a lot. I'm not sure who to watch right now, to be honest. It's looking... What does this button do? Lap time history. And it shows 1 lap. Can I change the amount of laps? Whoa! Fancy! Okay. Onboard of Stephen King. That's a great idea. This is what it looks like on board Stephen King, who's trying to get past Eric Manenfeld again. He takes a wide entry into the left hand. Let's try and get a better run. And he's very much in the slipstream. But Kyle Ridley, by the way, is also right there. Just letting you know, he's right behind him. We're on board with Stephen King for Pulse eSports in the Honda. He's having a look to the inside. Moves to the right. Brakes a little bit. Gets a bit twitchy on the brakes. They're all looking really stable through here. Eric moves out a little bit wide. Gets back to the left into the right-hand hairpin. But this is where the slipstream is king. Get it? Because we're on board with Stephen King. Into the second to last corner. Down towards the final turn now. And he's going to casually sit behind the car in front of him. And just try and get the better. Look at the difference in line there. Lifts off a lot more. And actually, Eric's now going to get a better run initially on the exit. But Stephen is very much in the slipstream. Now, he got the move done before turn 1 last time. It doesn't look like that's going to happen this time. He might have to go to the inside, which is going to be risky. But he's going to have a look. His nose is now a little bit alongside, but he's lifted off a lot more. He's trying to put Eric off. He's trying to force him into a mistake here. Down towards turn 2 now. He plays it safe, does King, when racing. He tries to just consistently pick up those results, and that is why he's consistently up there at the end of the season. He's been P2 more times than I can remember. So you would argue that it's not a championship driving style, but at the same time, being runner-up so many times has been a regular occurrence for Stephen King. Mark Draper has had a crash, and Steven Scheller have gone off track. We'll have a quick look at that in a second. Biggie Morello says, I think it's rude to flash, but I can also see if you're in a different class why you'd flash to warn that you're coming. Bandwagon for Dan, do it, chat, do it. On board of King, driver of the day, Cranston, says Sol Slenderman. I get that it's rude, but at the same time, that's why it works on getting in people's heads. Even if you're not in a different class. It's just trying to put people off, really. You just want to try and get that advantage any way you can. Some people might think it's dirty. What's happened to Stefan Scheller in the Husingveld Audi? Oh, that was a big hit. And I think it was from Mark Draper, which is why it shows up that Mark crashed. Yeah, just too late on the brakes. I think he's going to get... I think he's going to give the position back. That is a long way. Home run. 6. What's the score when you hit it out the park? Something like that. Let's go back to this fight. We're on the final lap. They are just entering turn 2. I won't forget the end of the race. Vote in chat, driver of the day. So far, we've got 1 vote for Cranston, 1 vote for Thornton. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. So you can see all the votes. I don't have a form this time. So far, we've got 1 vote for 2 drivers. Corpus, though, is still very much leading this race. Fry is still very much in P2 for Meatball Motorsport. And Manenfeld for Street Casuals is still very much in P3. This is actually a very unique podium we're seeing here already in the first round of this season. And it's all because this man has absolutely woken up after an absolute nightmare in the Volkswagen Jetta Cup. Because we know he had pace. He was so quick in practices throughout the season. We hold practices on Thursdays before the race events. Corpus was always in the top, like 6 out of nowhere. But everyone would always be like, it's okay. Because come race day, for some reason, He was down, he either made a mistake or he was down near the bottom of the grid. But coming into the second to last turn now, David Corpus on round 1 of season 2 of the Racing Line Touring Car Championship in the Hyundai, making it an all Hyundai podium by the looks of it. I think it's going to happen again on the next race. David Corpus for Lurchus Gaming is going to take a win on race 3. Stephen Fry for Meatball Motorsport comes home in P2. Mannenfeld brings it home in P3. Stephen King was P4 in the end. Cranston done well to get back up to P5. Ridley, Anderson, Burkhardt, Farr and Van Nolst up in the top 10, starting from the back. Absolute crack and drive from the Belgian driver. Fabian Siegman there in P11. Bailiff P12. Lequay Pershke in P14. He had issues earlier. He went way off the track. I remember seeing it. So he done well to finish halfway up the grid. Thurtle down in 15th will be disappointed. Scheller 16th will probably also be disappointed. Hughes, Thornton, Amundere, Murray, Weiswanger, Draper and Mould. I think if there's a team, I mean... how do I say this? And I mean this lovingly, guys. I say this as Duncan Murray crosses the line. I say this hands on my heart. With 7 rounds, SRL can't have another round like that. We are here for fun, though, of course. So let's remember that. This is just for fun. But once they're on track, we all know what it's like. It all gets a bit competitive. Points are on the line this time. It's only round 1. Frustrations may rise in round 2 if it happens again. That's what tends to happen. Some people will be like, round 1, meh. We're just finding our feet. Parfit there in 24th. Halewood 25th. Morse was 26th in the end. He's had a bad day. Gibson down in 27th. Doesn't look like... I don't know if he came back out or if he was just a lap down after his earlier incident and breaking his wheel. Driver of the day, Corpus, unless he bins it before he gets to the line in typical Lurch's fashion. Carl Ridley for driver of the day. Right, I now have, for Guelthio, go get your Lurchus, boys. I'm not trying to rig the vote here, but so far I've got 4 votes for driver of the day. And they're all for 4 different drivers. Cranston, Corpus, Ridley, and Thornton. I just need a few more votes. I'm going to go through the results. In fact, I've just gone through the results. So I'm going to get some interviews ready as they all come back into the pits. I don't actually know where Corpus is. He's coming into the pits now. He's not going to do any celebration donuts. I've forgotten. I do have a... I thought I had a mapped... Oh, there it is. Wouldn't it be good if they had, like, emotes on iRacing? Just for bits like this right at the end so that the drivers could, I don't know... pump their fists or something. What a great circuit. Phillip Island. Look at that view. Look at that coast. More races should come here. They really should. I can see loads of you across the 4 chats. Vote for your driver of the day, people. We're going to talk to a few of them whilst we play some slow motion footage of the race in the background. So we'll go back to the start. And this is David Corpus. I wonder if he'll be available for the for an interview. I don't think we've spoken to Corpus before on stream. It's between... Oh no, Corpus is in the lead of the vote right now. That's good. 3 votes. Caraday says no. Oh, because he's late and he missed it. I'm in the Discord now. I'm catching up on Discord. Steward's room. Do I dare look at the steward's room at this time? Oh, actually, do you know what? I was expecting a lot more in there. It's looking good. I don't know if David Corpus needs to get in that interview room. I want to speak to him, but I don't think... I can't... Well, 1, I don't know how good his English is, which isn't a problem. But 2, he's just got his first win. Someone find that man. Find that man and bring him up to the interview room. Because... I mean, look at this. Storms to the lead in turn 1. 3rd to 1st and then held it. And Stephen Fry done pretty damn well as well to come home in P2. Stephen Fry's normally around. We can probably speak to him first. Let me just remind myself of the winners from race 2 and 1. Cranston. Farr was 2nd. Wait, Cranston won both of the first races. God, he's a quick boy, isn't he? He's a quick boy. Okay. Right. Let's hide that. Let's go find someone. To the Discord we go. We'll speak to the regular because he's already in the interview waiting room. So we'll drag him in because on the results screen it's showing 2 wins out of 3, Mr. Cranston. How was round 1 for you at Phillip Island? Does it bring back memories or nightmares? Tell us. Let's bathe in this experience. What's happening right now? Because we're all on a cool down after all that racing.
Well, after this round, I don't think I remember ever coming here again. Coming here before. So, yeah, this is all I need to remember. I don't need to remember any other rounds that have been at Phillip Island.
No, nothing happened here last time. You definitely didn't do 2 out of the 3 races last time. But you won 2 out of the 3 races this time. Where did you finish in that race? 5th?
5th, yeah.
Talk to us briefly about the grid. So we got 30 drivers in the end, which is great news. What's it like? We've got a few new teams out there. What's the atmosphere? It's looking like it's going to be great, to be honest. 7 rounds of this is going to be insane. But Phillip Island has always thrown up a good race like this. So from your point of view, how was the races, all 3? And how are the new guys and the old guys?
For me, I really enjoyed it. It was great to get back out there again. New guys on track were fine with me. I had a great race with Fabian in race 1. They were all respectful, giving space when needed as per the rules. So I can't complain personally for what happened in my races. It was good fun.
Perfect. Did you expect 2 wins today?
I didn't even expect a podium, to be honest. I was really worried about my pace coming into this round. I didn't look quick in practice on Thursday either. So I'm very, very happy with the result today.
Well, that's a good sign. I posed the question early on in stream, I think. And it was about... This championship is only 7 rounds long. Still 21 races, but it's 7 rounds compared to the 12 it was previous.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you guys have to decide early who you're favouring, or are you and Morgan going to race to the end?
Well, I was a bit worried about him in that 3rd race. He was getting a bit close. There was definitely no team tactics yet. And even with only having 7 rounds, as you said, we can't afford to have bad rounds. So Morgan is very disappointed after today. So he just needs to keep his head up. He knows he can perform right at the top, and he knows he can win. So I believe he can come back from this, and we'll have a good championship fight together with whoever else might be at the top near the end.
Yeah, I mean, he's come back from things like this before, so it's just about keeping his head up, as you know. Well, thanks for talking to us. I've actually forgotten what round... Oh, it's Okayama. We go to Okayama next, over to Japan. How are you feeling about that?
Well, that's one I voted for, so I should be happy. But it's just one of those free tracks, which I'm not really sure what it's going to be like. Have we done a touring car there before?
I don't think we did it last season, you know, because I was looking for the laps and I couldn't find it.
No. It should be good for the Honda with the heavy braking zones and stuff. So, yeah, we'll see.
Perfect. Thanks for speaking with us, Jake. Is there anyone before I let you go that you want to say hello or thank you to?
Well, I'd just like to dedicate this round to my new hamster biscuit.
Okay. I did not expect that one. Well done.
That wasn't on the bingo card.
That wasn't on the bingo card, no. Thanks, Biscuit, for supporting the series. We'll speak to you later, Jake.
Thank you.
I'll put him back in the interview room to talk to Arthur, who's currently in there. It's a shame. I can't force people to be in the interview waiting room. Corpus is not there. I would like to bring in that case... Stephen Fry is not there as well. He's spoken to us before, I think. These guys have had successful days, you know. I'm surprised. They should be here. I want to speak to them. We don't know when this is going to happen again. Let's speak to Austin. He was on the podium in race 2. It was an all Honda podium. Austin Farr for Street Casuals. Eric Mannenfeld for Street Casuals got a podium at the end. Austin, what's it like out there? 27 drivers on the grid today. Phillip Island, an amazing circuit. Tough?
Very. Especially with the car combo. Cold tires was definitely. I mean, I felt like I was better on them. But yeah, the racing was really good. I love this track.
I don't know why there's not more official series here, to be honest, because we've been here twice now in 2 seasons, and both times the racing has been absolutely insane. I don't know if it was just the way your line was and from the camera angle, but there was one point in that race just then, in fact we just saw it on screen, where you was right over on the left hand side on the straight. Did you have an issue, or was you just breaking slipstream or something?
I don't know. Sometimes I just kind of do my own thing, right or wrong. I do it anyway. So I don't know exactly. But yeah, the racing in 3 was really good. I got a little unlucky with when I timed my moves, and then when I finally did pass Matt's, I made a mistake there, and he was able to get back by me. But yeah, the racing was awesome.
That's good. Peter Ridley in chat says great racing as well. Great commentary. Thank you. Well done. All. I've had a couple of driver of the day votes. Who would you put your driver of the day?
Driver of the day for me?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I couldn't even name 10 of the people in the race.
You just know the cars.
Say me, because I know my name, so I'll pick me.
Okay, you do that. You just casually pick yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we go to Okayama next. Jake in the Honda as well said heavy braking zones are a good sign in the Honda. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think so. I need to practice. This weekend I obviously didn't have a lot of time to do so, but I think I'll be a little bit more prepared for Okayama. It's a track that I'm decent at. Everybody else hates it, but I don't know. I like it. The only corner I don't like is that big right-hander. I suck there, but everywhere else it's all right. So I'll be looking forward to that.
No worries. And before I let you go, is there anyone else that you want to say hello or thank you to?
All my teammates, all the guys that are cool enough to chill in the driver's room Discord during the race. Those guys are the best. Pour one out for my homies, Garrett and Skylar. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
No worries. Thank you, Austin. Speak to you soon.
All right, thank you, man.
Austin Farr for Street Casuals there was very much on the pace today. A lot of them not expecting the pace. Right, I've got one more. Time for one more, I think. It's 1:30 in the morning. So, who out of this lot that I can see, who shall I talk to? Arthur Thurtle is there. They've had a hell of a race. Let's give Street Casuals another go, shall we? Let's bring Eric up. Eric Mannenfeld for Street Casuals was P3 in race 3. And he had a good little battle with Stephen King by the looks of it. He got passed at one point, passed him back in his favourite little hairpin. You seem to enjoy the brakes on that hairpin, apart from when you don't.
Yeah, I hit Kyle once in the hairpin, so I apologize to him. But it was fun racing. I really enjoyed it. When coming here, I really didn't expect to be fast around here. Well, still wasn't really fast anyway, but in the top 10, so I'm happy I've been there in the first race. So I'm really happy to still make up the positions and finish on the podium.
These cars seem to be... the cars seem to bring up this weird thing in the drivers today. Or in general, because I feel the same way when I'm driving these cars. But almost every driver has turned up today and last week and to the qualification round, and even when I drove the car, and everyone feels the same way. Like, the car doesn't feel great. I don't feel comfortable. I don't think I'm on the pace. But then during the race, yeah, the pace seems to be there. Everyone stays together. I mean, you were fighting and you were still in the top 3. It was an awesome move to get back to the podium, and like you said, just one mistake though, and it can sometimes unravel a whole round. But Street Casuals looking pretty good. Just Henry Morse that was a little bit unlucky today, obviously. With I think he got collected in race 2, which was race 2 or 3, yeah. But it wasn't his fault.
No, it happened right in front of me. I saw him and I was like, oh no.
Did you laugh?
Someone someone clipped the grass
Yeah.
and took him out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
that's a shame.
Yeah, but he needs. I mean, it'll be nice to see all 3 orange cars back up there, and with Austin's doing well in the Honda. If Henry can find that pace, which we know he has, I'm sure we'll see Street Casuals fighting for something in the teams. We're on to Okayama next. How are you feeling about that one?
I don't know. I haven't driven it yet in this car in the new Hyundai. It's not my best track, but I thought the same about this one. So I'm still looking forward to it. See what we can do there and bring Street Casuals back to the top where we belong.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you for speaking with us, Eric. Before I let you go, is there anyone that you want to say hello or goodbye to? Hello or thank
yes,
you to?
my yes, thank you to my supporter Mac in chat. Nice that you're watching. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
There he goes. And that is that. We will leave it there. Driver of the day, by the looks of it, was David Corpus with 3 votes to 2, I think. Or was it 4 votes to 3? Duncan Moray looking like he was a close second with his fan club in chat. Thornton was also there in a close second, I think, with the matched votes. But Corpus with your race win in 3. I would like to speak to him, man. That was a good race win, and Stephen Fry as well for P2. So well done to them. Congratulations. Thank you all to watching across all 3 channels. 4 channels, sorry. Racing Line, YouTube and Twitch, and VCO Esports, YouTube and Twitch. Same time next week. We go live at 8 o'clock for the last 10 minutes of practice. Qualifying starts at 10 past 8. This is UK time. And then qualifying is only 10 minutes long, which means race 1 will be at 20 past 8, and then it all kicks off. That will be Okayama next week. I hope to see you all there. As usual, that is pretty much it from me. If I don't see you on track this week, I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace.